Hi Fude lovers, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a CD Japan recommendations video. So I'm just going to go over some favorites that are still available on CD Japan currently. As I was checking, some of them have a couple left, like the eye brushes, but I do know CD Japan is pretty good about restocking brushes. So also, I have recently become an affiliate of CD Japan's, which is very exciting. I will put my link in the description box below. If you do choose to use any of my affiliate links, I am really thankful. Any small commissions earned, I do put back into my channel just to buy other brushes so I can review them for you guys and do some comparisons. So again, thank you all for the support so far. It really does mean so much to me, and I've really met some amazing people along the way. So without further ado, I'm just gonna go through all these brushes, give my thoughts, and hopefully it helps you guys out. I do know that CD Japan recently had a discount code. I unfortunately was unable to get this video up before it expired, but CD Japan often enough does do discounts quite often where they'll send you emails about their discount codes they have available, so or their sales. So yeah, hopefully this will be helpful if you're watching this in the future with any brushes you may be interested in purchasing. So let's see, we're gonna start with the CHIKUHODO FO series first. So the first big mama brush is the CHIKUHODO F09. Again, Silver Fox. And this is 51 millimeters in length. And as you can see, this is a really, really plush, luscious brush. It's just beautiful. And in fact, I've shown this on my Instagram before, but I'm gonna pull it out here. So this is my KOYUDO Golden Fox brush. And I remember comparing this one, the F09, to it when I first received it, because what's really nice is this is no longer available, but the F09, it's nice because it's a great alternative. It, of course, is not as plush as the KOYUDO, which this I did get from CD Japan, and I wish it was still available because, oh my gosh, it's like a cloud on the skin. Look at that. It's huge. I remember using it for the first time, and I was like, wow, I have small features, and this brush is a monster on my face, so the F09 is still large as well, but it's a great alternative for those who maybe missed out on the KOYUDO Golden Fox brush. So I just wanted to give that quick little comparison while I was thinking of it. But anyway, so yeah, the F09, again, 51 millimeters in length, big, beautiful powder brush. So if you're looking to add a big, beautiful powder brush to your collection and you're interested in Silver Fox bristles, this one is beautiful. And it's just got lovely density, but the way it moves on the skin, it's not too dense. It's just really bouncy and fluffy and just beautiful. Lovely, lovely brush, especially for those who missed out on that KOYUDO. It really is a nice option. And then we have the next brush, which is the CHIKUHODO F01, and this is 45 millimeters in length. As you can see, I do have my engraving on this brush. I actually purchased some of my FO series from Visage USA years back. I heard that Visage USA no longer sells to the US, which is such a bummer because I used to love their engraving service. Just beautiful on the wood handles. I was really sad to see that they don't sell to the US anymore because they were a great company, but nonetheless, you can still purchase this brush on CD Japan. And here it is next to the F09. So The F01, again, 45 millimeters, F09 51. So you can see the F01 is quite a bit smaller. However, if you have smaller features like I do, I have actually used this F01 for powder, bronzer. It's a really versatile size. So the F09 isn't necessarily a must, so to speak. I would say if you're looking for versatility where you want to be able to use it with bronzer, blush, powder, the F01 would be the better way to go. But I just love big powder brushes. And for some reason, the F09 it has almost like a goldeny hue to the bristles, ever so slightly compared to my F01. So that's one thing I noticed when I first got the F09. It really almost had like a goldeny hue to it. Really beautiful. So yeah, this brush is lovely with powder and bronzer. Those are my two favorite applications with this brush. Density is beautiful. It's got really nice density, but it's also not too dense. It's just right. Really beautiful movement to the bristles and bouncy. That's one thing about fox bristles. They're almost as soft as squirrel, but have the resiliency of goat, but they're just so bouncy. They have this beautiful bounce on your skin. It's so hard to explain unless you've tried fox bristles. They're truly one of a kind. And I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding fox bristles. Not everybody really wants to collect fox bristles, but that's okay. That's everyone's own personal choice. But if you are interested in fox bristles, these are really beautiful. And honestly, for the price, like, you really can't go wrong because you're getting luxury. Of course, they're expensive, but they're not as expensive as like Takeda and others on the market. But the next one I have here is my F03, and this is 40 millimeters in length. I also got this one engraved years back. I love the wood grain on the handles. In person, they're just beautiful. And the ferrules, you can see, have like this little sheen to them. I remember when the FO series first came out, I was really torn on whether I wanted to get them because I wasn't a huge fan of the green ferrule, but in person, it's just stunning and it's got a really beautiful aesthetic in person. So here's the F03 compared with the F01. And again, F01 is 45 millimeters, F03 is 40. So to me, you could definitely use the F03 with blush, bronzer, targeting, powder. Honestly, you could even get away with powdering with this. I know some people don't really want a huge, massive, fluffy brush with their powders, and that's understandable. So between these two, they're a really nice, versatile size, depending on the length that you want. And you can see the F03, the ferrule, it does look to be thinner, ever so slightly. Not by much, but just a little bit. But density-wise, I would say these are about the same. They both got really nice density and really beautiful movement on the skin. I remember the first time I opened these, it was my first time trying fox bristles, and I remember saying to myself, just the way that they move on the skin, they're just effortless. Absolutely beautiful. And then next here we have the F04. So the F04 is 35 millimeters in length, and it's an angled brush. Now this one I have used with blush and bronzer, and it is beautiful for that. And it's really not that large for an angled cheek brush. Like, it's the perfect size. So again, if you have small features, the F04 really is a lovely brush, especially if you like angled brushes. You will love the F04. And again, just as the others, has beautiful movement on the skin, but it's not floppy. Like, it has just enough bristles packed in. Stunning. And these brushes are just so soft. Really, really soft. CHIKUHODO did a wonderful job with these. Just beautiful. So again, if you like angled brushes, F04, you would definitely love that brush for sure. And then the next one we have here, which is pretty unique to me. I don't own a lot of flat top brushes. As you know, I love paddle shaped brushes. So the F02 is 21 millimeters in length. And this brush is very dense, like super dense. And there's a lot of different opinions on whether or not Fox can be used with creams or liquids. I know a lot of manufacturers say not to. So personally, I have actually though used my F02 with cream blush, and I've actually also used it for my under eye concealer. And this brush as my under eye concealer brush, beautiful. What's incredible about it is the way it blends the concealer under my eyes. You would think because it's really dense, it would really pack it, but it doesn't. It blends beautifully. And also the bristles clean off really well, almost like Kalinsky, where you wipe it off on a microfiber towel and the product just comes right off. So it really does clean off beautifully when I used it with concealer. And I have not noticed any wear and tear in these bristles. Now, do I use it every time for my concealer? No. I only pull it out every now and then, not too much, because I do know creams and liquids tend to wear out natural hair bristles a lot faster. So I am aware of that, and I don't want to abuse it in that sense, but I can say I have used it with concealer and cream blush, and I really loved it. And it's just so soft because there's so many hairs packed in and they're shorter. Like, it's just really, it feels like velvet on the skin. So if you like flat top brushes, it's a beautiful one. It really is. And then we're going to move on to the Z-Series brushes. Now, these brushes obviously are pretty much everybody's favorite in the community. They're nothing new, but I did want to show them today in this video. So we have the Z9, and these brushes I also purchased on Visage many years ago, but they are still available, of course, on CDJapan. But the Z9 is 52 millimeters in length, so she is a long powder brush. And I was able to get it engraved many years back. I missed that. But anyway, so it is a little bit like a paddle shape. It is pinched when you turn it on its side. You can see how it's pinched and really long at 52 millimeters. So you don't often see a lot of squirrel bristles in this length. And it is gray squirrel, so the Z series are all gray squirrel. Really beautiful. And honestly, I've actually kept this in a brush guard, so it normally fluffs out even more than it is now. So keep that in mind. Some of these brushes, and I'll mention if they were in a brush guard or not. Because if you don't store them in a brush guard, they really fluff out beautifully. But these Z-Series brushes are just so luxurious. Great for finishing powders, loose powders. It's got beautiful movement on the skin. Not too dense, but also not floppy. Just gorgeous. If you're looking for squirrel brushes that are luxury, the Z series is the way to go. And that's actually where I first ventured into squirrel brushes, was the Z series. They really are everyone's favorite for good reason. And then the next one we have here is the Z1. So this is 45 millimeters in length. And as you can see, the ferrule, it's completely round, unlike the Z9, which had that pinch. But this brush, love with my Guerlain Meteorite powder. It is a dream with the Guerlain Meteorites. Gorgeous because of the way it just fits in and the way that you can buff the finishing powder into your skin. It never ever looks like it's just sitting on the skin. Buffs it in beautifully. That's one thing that's so great about squirrel bristle brushes, is you never feel like you have like any product on your skin. Like, it's got great blending ability, but it's still just something about the way it just gives you this airbrushed effect to your skin. Absolutely beautiful. And here it is next to the Z9. So you can see how much bigger the Z9 is compared to the Z1. So it really depends on your preference. If you were to say which one would I prefer, that's tough. I would say the Z1 is more versatile due to its shape and size. And to be honest, I do think I reach for my Z1 a little more than my Z9, which is funny because I've always been a paddle shape brush girl, and I always thought I would use the Z9 more, but I just feel like the Z1 is more versatile. You could even use the Z1 with blush if you wanted to, bronzer, and I've kept both of these in a brush guard. So normally they do flare out a little bit more. But yeah, just beautiful. I love these. And then the next one we have here is the Z8. And this is 40 millimeters in length. So this is a cheek brush. So of course, this brush you could use with blush, bronzer, and again, if you don't like big powder brushes, you could even use it with powder. It's a great versatile shape. In fact, it is the same, let me see, yeah, same millimeters as the F03. So these are both 40 millimeters in length. So these are great versatile sizes at that 40 millimeter length, because you really can use it with blush, bronzer, powder. You could even do highlight with it if you wanted to. I like smaller brushes, but I do know some people use bigger brushes for highlight. So again, here they are compared. And then let's see. So yeah, I ended up, the Z8 was actually the first Z series brush that I purchased, and that's what made me fall in love with the series. I really love it. And I've also kept my Z8 in a brush guard, so normally it does flare out quite a bit more. But yeah, it's just beautiful. And then we have the Z4. So the Z4 is 36 millimeters in length. And this is labeled as a cheek highlight brush. So honestly, this you could definitely use with highlight. Did I mention the length on this? 36 millimeters in length. You could do under eye powder, blush, maybe bronzer, a little bit small for my liking for bronzer, but it is a really lovely blush brush. I really like the Z4 with blush. And I'll compare it with the Z8. And the Z4 definitely has more airiness to the bristles, where the Z8 is denser. So that is something to note. And you can really see the ferrules, how much more hair is packed into the Z8 compared to the Z4. It's just thicker, much thicker, but very similar shapes. And then we have the MKUM, and this is 47 millimeters in length. And it's got this beautiful maquillé design. And in person, the way this glistens, it is just stunning. Oh my gosh. And what's funny is with this brush, CDJapan says that it's Gray Squirrel, but on other retailers, I believe it was Beautylish, it said it was Ash Squirrel. So I don't really know if it's Gray Squirrel or Ash Squirrel, but to be honest, they do feel slightly different than my Gray Squirrel brushes. Not by much, but there's just, it feels like the MKUM almost has like more strength, but it's also very dense. So what's so unique about the MKUM is, and what made me purchase it initially, not only for the beautiful handle, but for the density. You hardly ever see blue or gray squirrel brushes with this much bristles packed in. It's just super dense. And so this has been kept in a brush guard. I have used this with bronzer and it is beautiful with bronzer. Very soft. Even if it is Ash Squirrel, it is still extremely soft and luxurious. I actually need to bring this brush out more because it's been a while since I've used it, but here it is compared with the Z9. So again, Z9 52 millimeters, MKUM 47. So you can really see how much bigger the Z9 is. And that's what makes the MKUM super versatile because of that length and density. So of course you could use this with powders, blush, bronzer. Beautiful brush. I was actually really happy to see, because I know it had sold out for a while, and I was happy to see that it came back, and it's got this beautiful matte black handle and ferrule, which just gives it this really beautiful classy look. Just gorgeous. I can't speak highly enough about this brush. Honestly, this is like one of the brushes that I would highly recommend out of all these brushes is the MKUM, because I don't know if it'll be in stock forever. I don't know if once it sells out, if they'll bring it back. I'm not quite sure, so. But they may, you never know, because we've seen it come back, so don't want to create FOMO there, but so then we have we're going to go into the BISYODO series here. So this BISYODO brush, so this is the BC01, and their handles are made of African rosewood and 24 karat gold ferrule. Beautiful presentation BISYODO has, and I don't own a lot of BISYODO brushes. Tracy here on YouTube, Brush Junkie, she has a lot of beautiful BISYODO brushes, and I love watching her channel. She always shows the most beautiful brushes. Her BISYODO collection is gorgeous. But this brush, so this is CHIKUHODO Goat, and it's 38 millimeters in length. And it's that classic paddle shape that I love and adore. I do not use this brush as much as I would like to, unfortunately. For some reason, I don't find myself reaching for my dyed goat brushes as much. Not saying it's not soft, not saying it's not beautiful, because it is. I just find myself not reaching for it. And it's such a shame because it's a beautifully crafted brush. So I know this is a favorites video, but I really just wanted to share it anyway in case somebody was interested in seeing this brush. It is lovely. It really is. But yeah, that's the shame about owning so many brushes, is sometimes some of them just kind of get pushed to the side and you kind of forget to reach for them. So, but again, beautiful, beautiful craftsmanship. And then my next BISYODO I have here is the BFD01 foundation brush, CHIKUHODO Goat, 28 millimeters in length. And this brush is very dense, but not only is it dense, it is luxuriously soft. I remember when I first opened this brush, I couldn't even believe how soft it was. Really soft. And you can see there's really not that much movement on the skin. So that goes to show how dense this brush really is. To be honest, I have not reached for this as much as I'd like to. Ever since I got my Sonia G Fusion series brushes, I just prefer the way those ones apply, but if you like natural, just straight up natural hair brushes for your foundation, you will love this brush. It's beautiful, luxurious, soft, crafted just beautifully. I also imagine this would be great for cream bronzer or even cream blush. I haven't tried it with that yet, and I've been really wanting to. I feel like cream bronzer, this brush would be phenomenal. But yeah, just beautifully crafted. Very heavy too. It's got a lot of weight to it, this one. And then the next brush we have here is the KOYUDO KAKISHIBUZOME, excuse me if I said that wrong, series brush. So this is the KSZ02 powder brush, round, 50 millimeters in length, CHIKUHODO. And with these series, I know these are becoming more limited because the KSZ01 that I have, it's the paddle shape version. It is sold out on like every retailer, which is such a shame. But the tips are dyed with persimmon, a traditional dyeing technique in Japan. And I'm reading this from CDJapan's website. Changing color with the passing of time, the dye soaks deeper, the color turns darker, and it becomes a fascinating texture. It's completely natural dye and has an antibacterial effect, which makes it great for daily use. The handles are made from Mizumi Zakura cherry blossom wood, revered for its natural elegance and warmth. And in person, these bristles are just so much more beautiful than how these cameras can ever showcase them. I call them the pumpkin brushes because they have almost like a pumpkin-y, reminds me of fall. Like these brushes just give me fall vibes. But the handle is beautiful in person, very smooth and soft. I just love these brushes. I really want to get the blush brush too, but I've been really torn because I have so many paddle shaped brushes in my collection. So I'm like, do I need it? I know I keep saying, I don't need any more brushes, but yeah, it's just really soft. Look at like the shine, really beautiful. I love this brush with powder. It applies and buffs powder in like a dream. Gorgeous brush. So I do highly recommend, this is another one in this video. I do highly recommend picking up before they're sold out because I know the paddle shaped one, the 01 is no longer available. So I don't know if they're phasing these out. I'm assuming they are, so highly recommend that one. And then the next one we have is the CHIKUHODO RRC2 Grey Squirrel, 33 millimeters in length. Really soft. It is not the softest squirrel that I have in my collection. However, it's still really, it does a really good job picking up product. It's got that nice round shape. And I know this is another favorite loved by many as well. And I have shown this one on my channel before. So yeah, this is a great one. And let me see. Yeah, so it's 33 millimeters in length. Beautiful round shape. So if you like round brushes, what's great about this brush too is it's not expensive. It's very fairly priced. Even after CHIKUHODO's price increases, it is still very fairly priced. I believe it's around 50 US, which is insane for a Fude brush. You know, not the most luxurious handle, but if you're just venturing into Fude, this is a great, great option for when you're just starting out. If you don't want to spend a fortune on some of these other brushes that can be a lot more expensive. All right, guys, so now we're going to get into the eye brushes. This is a long video. So this is the CHIKUHODO F07. So this is 12 millimeters in length, and it is a pencil brush. And I really do love this for smudging shadow under the lash line. You can't get too targeted with this, of course, but I do love it just for shading underneath on the lower lash line. Very soft. It really is a great one. I do love this pencil brush a lot. And then the next one we have here is the CHIKUHODO F06. So this is 11 millimeters in length and is a packer brush. What I love about this brush, because I have smaller lids, this is great because you can really get in the inner corner and pack the shadow on really nicely. Very soft, it picks up product beautifully, and I love the density because, as you know, some flat shader brushes don't have a lot of density, and that one does. All right, and then the next brush here is from the HOUKODO Brilliant Gold Series. So this is the GS5 flat shader Kalinsky, 11 millimeters in length. And I know HOUKODO just had a price increase, but even after the price increase, their brushes are more of an affordable option, especially if you're wanting to try out Kalinsky. Kalinsky can be very expensive, and this is a really wonderful option for those just venturing into Fude, want to try different bristle types. This is wonderful with shimmers and metallics. It's a really nice packer brush. Highly recommend that one. And I know a lot of other people do too. And this is also another HOUKODO brush from their Brilliant Gold series. So this is the GS4, 5 millimeters in length. And it's a smudger brush. So the more I've used it, it's definitely flared out a little bit there. But I can still really get liner smudged with this brush. I really love this to smudge liner on the lower and upper lid. And again, this is also Kalinsky. And you can tell I've really used it because of how much it's flared out, but it is soft and it's got decent movement. It just smudges my liner out really nice. So I really like that. If you're looking for a good Kalinsky smudger brush, this one's a really good one. And then the last one from the HOUKODO Brilliant Gold series is the GS2. So this is 14 millimeters in length, and this is Canadian Squirrel. This is another one of Tracy's favorites, and I can definitely see why. It's lovely. You can apply shimmer on the lid. You could use this even with your transition shade or deepen the crease. It's a really versatile shape that we all love, that paddle shape packer. It's got really nice movement to the bristles, and you never really see Canadian Squirrel brushes priced the way HOUKODO prices their Canadian Squirrel. Canadian Squirrel is expensive. Is it the softest Canadian Squirrel I own? Definitely not, especially after getting Takeda now, like nothing will ever compare. But it is still very soft. I mean, if you are somebody just first trying Canadian Squirrel, you will be very pleased with this. It's a great brush. These HOUKODO brushes are great for people just starting out too, I feel like. Because the price points, they're really not unobtainable typically. And then, oh, so this is also a Z-Series brush. So this is the Z10 Grey Squirrel, 11 millimeters in length, pencil brush. Now this, if I was to recommend one pencil brush in this video, definitely the Z10. Oh my gosh, I love this brush. The way, see that tip? The way that you're able to smudge underneath, but just blend. Oh, I love this for the lower lash line. And I'll actually compare the F07. So the F07 is 12 millimeters, Z10 11. So the Z10, I do feel like it definitely gives me more control. You can see the point that it has compared with the F07. So if I was to pick one, Z10 all the way. Not saying I don't like the F07, but the Z10 is, oh, it's just, again, the movement and the softness. Oh my gosh. I remember when I first got this, I was obsessed. I couldn't put it down. I still can't put it down. And then we've got another BISYODO brush. So this is the BES06, Eyeshadow Kalinsky shader brush. This is 13 millimeters in length. And again, it's Kalinsky. Really nice packer brush. It's more of a medium size, whereas the HOUKODO is definitely smaller. You can see how much thinner the HOUKODO is compared to the BISYODO. So it really just depends on your preference and your eye shape. I would say I maybe prefer the size of the HOUKODO, but then again, I do love them both. So again, it's really all about preference. Can't go wrong either way. And especially with BISYODO, with their handles, just beautiful. And the ferrule, like the overall presentation is definitely more luxurious with the BISYODO. So that's something to keep in mind. If that's something that is important to you, then the BISYODO is definitely a great choice. And last but not least, you guys, we made it. So this is the KSZ04 eyeshadow brush. This is the large one, 13 millimeters in length, CHIKUHODO. And this is a beautiful brush. I remember thinking when I first got this brush, it was going to be too big for my eyelids. Because again, I have really small eyes. But for some reason, it's not. Like, I can grab a shimmer, place it all over the lid, and it just applies it beautifully. It really is like a dream. This is like a great one and done eyeshadow brush. Like if you're just packing a shimmer on the lid, you could even go underneath the lash line if you wanted to with it. Really nice and dense, yet it has that beautiful point. Lovely, lovely brush. I do love it. And like I said, I really thought it was going to be too big for my liking, but it's just not. It just works. I love it. So I highly recommend this one as well. Oh my gosh, you guys, we made it. So thank you so much if you guys made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope this was helpful. Are there any recommendations you guys have that are available on CD Japan? Any brushes you'd like to see me review on my channel or compare? Any comparisons you guys would like to see? Again, if you do decide to use my affiliate links, I am forever grateful. And other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.